Erev Tov Herzliya. Good morning in San Diego. And happy Mondial in Europe and in Buenos Aires. And at the moment, if everybody's a little bit distracted, we understand. Greetings, my name's Wayne Firestone. I'm here with my buddy Jeremy Weiss, and we have got Sababa Sunday for you. Jeremy, for those that are unfamiliar with Sababa, tell them a little bit about what it means and, what it means when an Israeli says Sababa.
Sure, Wayne. Good evening to everybody, or good morning, good day from Israel. It's still 2-2 Argentina or France, and here in Israel, we're sweating it off. I won't tell you who I'm voting for, but it's quite clear it's in South America. Yes, the word Sababa is actually an Arabic word pronounced Sababa. There are many words in Arabic that are used in today's Hebrew and vice versa. Many words in Hebrew used within Israeli and Palestinian Arabs. The Arabic meaning of Sababa is yearning, craving, strong love. And in today's Hebrew, it means excellent, splendid, terrific, brilliant. So let's have a Sababa event.
Well, Jeremy, I think we represent certainly on this special Salon webinar today a group around the world. People are celebrating some Hanukkah, some Christmas, some Kwanzaa. People are getting ready for all kinds of celebrations that are taking place around the world. And we're excited to have this audience with us and to bring together some people who have met each other before in person and others who simply haven't. We've had a great blessing this year at America-Israel Friendship League of getting back in the business of what we love to do, of actually bringing people together to visit Israel, to visit in their homes in the United States and around the world. And through the miracle of Zoom, and maybe some would say the miracle of Hanukkah today, that, people that just simply didn't know each other and have the opportunity to meet in person, to get to hear their stories, to celebrate. And that indeed is what we do at Sababa Sunday. We've been doing this now really for the past 3 or 4 years, and enjoying bringing together at the end of the secular year, people to sort of share what it is they're celebrating. So I want to ask, before we go live, we've got some real great friends here of Israel, friends of the America-Israel Friendship League, who are going to share a little bit of their stories, but we would love to give an opportunity for everyone in the chat now to share something that you are celebrating. It could be a holiday. It could be family gathering that you're getting ready for. It could be, a present you're expecting. It could be the result of this Mondial game, which we're all sort of sitting on our chairs wondering what's going to happen. Whatever it is you are celebrating or hoping to celebrate, put something in the chat, show a little love for this virtual gathering as we come together for this short time together. And as we do that, we'll check in from time to time over the course of the webinar. We do promise you, for those that make it through the end, whether or not your team wins Mondial, we promise you a great, sweet, or savory surprise at the very end. So stick with us. We've got a master chef who we've featured before from Israel, who's going to share one of his great recipes. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So stick with us. Jeremy, tell us about some of the people who wanted to bring greetings at the top of the program today.
So we're going to hear some reflections and thoughts from our 2 dear friends. And I'd like to first start with my dear friend and introduce him, Dr. David Milch, who will share with us his perspective on AIFL, America-Israel Friendship League. David is a physician and a life science entrepreneur. He graduated from Stanford University and then Harvard Medical School. David's current clinical and research interests focus on bioengineering, and recently David took a cancer therapeutic company called Alpha Tau Medical, based in Jerusalem, Israel, public on NASDAQ. David Milch's family foundation are active supporters of youth mentoring programs and arts initiatives, both in the United States and Israel. And he's been an active member of AIFL for the past 15 years. So it would be really wonderful, David, if you could share with us some of your reflections on AIFL.
Sure, Jeremy. Very happy to. Now I know who I'm going to hire to do my public relations going forward. That was quite an introduction. Thank you so much. Very kind of you, and very kind and generous for all of you who are here this morning while the World Cup, this amazing World Cup with France catching up in the final minutes, and who knows where it's going to go. But you'll have to give us some updates. There's a lot to cover here, and it's the end of the year. It's really just a real pleasure for me to say just briefly a few words about American-Israel Friendship League, AIFL as you call it. I've been involved for about 15 years and on the board for most of that time. And we had a board meeting the other day, and one of the board members said, a new board member expressing why she joined. She said, you know, if AIFL didn't exist, it would have to be invented. And I think that goes to the heart of why we're all here. American Israel, that's easy to understand. Friendship League. I remember as a kid reading comics, the Justice League of America. So I learned what a league was reading comic books. But why friendship? What is that all about? We all have friends. It's sort of a soft word. We're not a political organization. You know, AIFL does not take political stands. Certainly, there are issues like anti-Semitism and things of that nature that are apolitical, where AIFL is proud to take a stand when things that are absolutely unacceptable take place, whether it's in the United States or abroad. We're a social organization binding these two countries and the people from these two countries who happen, in the case of Israel, to be majority Jewish. Of course, there's an Arab population in Israel and the surrounding countries, and Christian and all denominations. And in the United States, Jews are a significant minority, but have had impact. And not just binding Jews together, and to really talk about how American Jewry and Israeli Jewry can respect and support one another, but reaching out beyond the Jewish constituency. And that's something that attracted me to AIFL in the beginning, reaching out to all communities, to the African-American community, to the Latinx community, to professional communities, whether attorneys general or teachers. And this is what really creates the whoop and woof of communities connecting to one another, and beyond whatever the political circumstances are on the left or right or center, regardless of affiliation. It's those long-term bonds. And there really isn't an organization that's doing it the way AIFL does. And AIFL is in the process of repositioning itself, one might say, coming out of COVID, having had an extraordinarily successful gala, one of the first emerging galas in November of 21, having won quite recently with Teva and Azrieli Group and Silverstein Properties and Pfizer. And that's why I wholly endorse the mission of AIFL. The actual missions have now recommenced, and we just had a wonderful mission of African-American friends of AIFL come to Israel, but before that, the Latinx group, and this is going to continue. Plus the webinars, which were so successful during the COVID period, which really isolated so many people. And this was one of the ways people came together and shared common bonds. And I guess that's really what friendship is all about, common bonds. So it's with great pride that I participate here, Jeremy and Wayne, and support the mission of AIFL, and do wholly hope that those who are already friends of AIFL become even greater friends of AIFL, tell their friends to become friends, and spread that friendship. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, David. Absolutely. Friends are really made once you get to know each other. And I really appreciate your warm words. And I look forward to seeing you in person in the near future. Wayne?
Well, in addition to having long-term friends at the league, like the David and the whole Milch family, I was so grateful to meet Richard and Lauren Brody just as they came back from a visit to Israel with our board member, Josh Weston. And little did we all know at the time that the world was about to get very small for a moment after that wonderful trip to Israel and our first meeting in Israel. Richard, maybe you could share a little bit about your impressions of this journey that you've been on, your own personal journey. You and Lauren in Charleston, South Carolina, in New Jersey, in New York, helping create friends and a new understanding of Israel, which I know for you has been sort of a lifetime passion.
Happy to speak for a couple minutes. I actually have made 3 trips to Israel. The first one, I went with my parents in 1967 after the 6-day war. It was a pretty amazing experience walking around, seeing the wreckage left over by the war. I went back in the 70s for my honeymoon. And then after a very long time, went back. Actually, we were there on Valentine's Day in 2020. So I don't know if I guess we arrived when the pandemic had already started. And by the time we left, we still weren't aware of what was going on. But it was an amazing trip. And I thought I'd just give a couple of examples of what was so eye-opening to us, of many things that we saw. We visited a school in South Tel Aviv called High Yardan. It's a school that's been around since the 60s. It was built and still serves the children of immigrants, refugees who came from Africa. Most of them actually walked from Africa through Egypt to Israel. Those 500 kids are amongst the most enthusiastic children I have ever seen. The joy and the energy in the school was amazing, notwithstanding, as you can imagine, many challenges they face in Israeli society and growing up. The second, a very different experience, was we visited a technology company called Orcam, which is based in Jerusalem. This is a company that developed a device to assist people who are visually impaired, something that you clip to your eyeglasses, and it will, for example, read the street signs across the street to you, give you directions so you can cross, or if you want, we'll read a book that's sitting in your lap. It's an amazing invention. There are countless more like that have been created in Israel, which is a credit to the culture there. So for us, the appeal of AIFL, this is not a group that's about advocacy or politics or taking a stand. It does something in a very different way, which I think is extremely valuable. It's about education through experiences. It brings you to see things in Israel, to learn things about Israel, and you can draw your own conclusions. And I can tell you, for myself and my wife, Lauren, our conclusion is we're in love with Israel. It's an amazing country, an amazing place, and our relationship will endure. So part of what we do in AIFL is taking people on trips. Part of what we do to introduce Israel to people is doing virtual meetings like this. I think they're both effective, and I thank everybody who's joining and hope you'll enjoy.
Richard, thanks so much. I'm looking in the chat. I'm seeing people who are coming in from, the last one I see is from Hadera. Yasmin, welcome. We have people who have shared their wishes and celebrations for the coming year, including Linda, who's looking forward to celebrating both life and good health. Bonnie, who's looking forward to seeing the largest menorah in Times Square this evening. So we're really looking at it at the AIFL world the way we like to see it, through really exciting and new adventures that people are looking forward to. Jeremy, we have the opportunity to meet in person at New York and to celebrate together the many accomplishments from this year. And I know you have some materials that can help bring this alive for the people that we didn't get to meet in person.
Well, I'd love to do that, but I was just thinking maybe, Wayne, we could share with the audience some of the reflections from the young Yassi kids. I thought that was a wonderful, wonderful initiative that the American Israel Friendship League conduct. And we have 2 young kids with us, and perhaps, Wayne, you'll take the liberty of introducing them and getting their thoughts.
Sure, let's go with the young people who are already ruling the world. I can tell you for sure that my highlight in New York was getting to meet Talia and Seth in person, and their colleagues, who many of whom were, at least on the American delegation, knew very little about Israel, obviously, and from very different parts of the country. So Seth, why don't we start with you? I know you had a great trip. I saw your big smile when you were there. tell us, just a little bit about the group of people you met and sort of what's sticking with you.
Hello, everyone. When I first started this program and agreed to host, I was really nervous, and I didn't know a lot about Israel at all, other than what I was seeing in the media. And after all of our delegates got here, it was really eye-opening. I think the most surprising part was to see how teenagers in Israel, they're not that different from teenagers in the US at all. We were so much alike in pretty much every way. We enjoyed the same things, and we had a lot of fun together.
Thanks. Talia, how about for you? What was sort of surprising and really interesting that sort of lit you up? Your Sababa moment.
Hi, everyone. My name is Talia. I'm from Israel, from Modi'in. I think that I really agree with Seth to begin with. We really are you come to a different place, to a different country. In America is across the world. It's my first time that I've been, and it's really interesting to see that we're not that different. So, my host family, they bought many American things that they thought that we don't have in Israel. For example, they bought many different sodas for us to try, but and they were shocked when they heard that we also have it in Israel. So it was really funny to see them asking about the things we have here and to see that we're really similar. So it was really nice.
And Talia, I know that from many of you and your friends, this was a first, taste of a certain American holiday. Tell us what you came back with from that memory.
So we all went out to Halloween. For most of us, it was the first time visiting in the US and celebrating different holidays, and it was really fun. We really got to experience different cultures and to see how things work in different places, and to see the differences and how different it is from Israel and then the US. So we went to many places that are in the US that we see in Israel, and we're wow, that looks pretty awesome. And I think it was really eye-opening for us, and it was really nice.
Thanks so much. Seth, I'm going to give you the last word because you said something to me earlier about, you loved hosting the Israelis. There wasn't an opportunity on this trip to actually visit Israel, but I know you've reached your own conclusion about what the trip meant for you.
Yeah, so the trip meant a lot for me. I was really nervous going into it, and it's opened me up to try and explore more into other cultures that I previously haven't considered ever traveling to. And so I know we didn't have an opportunity to travel with the Yasi program this year, but this summer I'm going to be traveling to Israel anyways and stay with my delegate because his family has been kind enough to offer to host me still. And so I'm super excited about that because right before we left, I had asked them, each of the people who came to Virginia Beach, if there was one place they could have taken us, where would it be? And so I made this long list, and I'm really excited to check it off this summer.
Well, we're excited that was your takeaway from this, and we look forward to hearing from you in the future, Seth. When you go, we're going to make a program for that, what your experiences were like on the Israel side of this. So we know you all were with us at the great celebratory event at the gala, and we had an opportunity to share AIFL and its accomplishments from the year. So we're going to pull that up right now so that everybody here can see it, and afterwards have Jeremy share some thoughts on the significance of the organization and the accomplishments from the year. And Jeremy, you'll tell us if there's a change in the score.
A profound bond, meaningful collaboration, mutual enrichment, and shared values connect Americans and Israelis together throughout the years.
The focus of the AIFL is to increase the understanding of Israel, what Israel is, who Israelis are, what Israelis are all about. By understanding this, by learning about the commonalities that there are between our two people, by learning about all the wonderful things that emanate from Israel, that is really how we create long-term friendships.
The America-Israel Friendship League strengthens the bonds between Israelis and Americans and brings to life the amazing parts of both countries: tech innovation, cultural happenings, and even political and historical events.
This year, as COVID-19 restrictions were finally lifted, the America-Israel Friendship League immediately restored its long-lasting tradition of sending leadership delegations to Israel, including the Harvard Crocodillos, who came to lift the spirit at the Schneider Children's Hospital and performed live at the beach of Bat Yam. These leadership delegations to Israel introduce Americans from various fields to a plethora of Israel's significant achievements.
The ingenuity, the positive spirit that this nation, which is no bigger than New Jersey, brings to a dangerous part of the world is inspiring.
There's just so much that this country has to offer that really, really resonates with the entire world.
It is more than I expected it. It was truly an eye-awakening experience.
Over the last few years, the AIFL has transformed itself. It has truly upped the ante. Over 2 million viewers of its webinars, over 12 million people who've been exposed to our messaging, all the members of our local communities, the participants in our delegations, all of those things combined together to create the modern AIFL.
AIFL continues to develop and enhance its online platforms with the expanded series of hugely popular webinars, connecting Americans and Israelis in practically every field known to man, from cooking to yoga and Pilates, from science to music, high-tech to security, and many more. B-Teens connects teenagers based on an engagement model that leverages the social media skills unique to Generation Z and generates fun discussions focused on shared interests and values. Always aspiring to create further connections, the AIFL constantly creates new initiatives, such as the Alumni at Parlor Outreach events and the Local Area Network Parlor Series, attracting participants that are new to the AIFL.
The America-Israel Friendship League, with its mission of bringing the two people together and ensuring the strong alliance and friendship between the two countries, is more essential than ever.
Wow, amazing. If it's okay with you, Wayne, I'd like to quickly also share with our audience 2 other events that we had in November.
Yeah, go for it.
Great, thanks. So the first one, we'll be presenting a short glimpse, 45 seconds, on a remarkable event at the New York Stock Exchange this November. The American Israel Friendship League hosted the annual Israel Day at the New York Stock Exchange. The event was dedicated to Israeli property management technology startups. It was really an amazing event, and I had the honor to attend it. And let's see this 45 seconds glimpse, please. And now for one more 45 seconds, quick look at the wonderful gala we had in November. And let's just have a quick look at that event, which was really remarkable.
Once again, the 2022 America-Israel Friendship League's Gala Dinner celebration was a huge success, with hundreds of participants from around the world and dozens of students from Israel and the U.S. As always, the highlight of the evening was the AIFL Partners for Democracy Award, this year accepted by Silverstein Properties and the Azrieli Group. The evening continued with the Kenneth J. Bialkin Leadership Award, received by Dr. Albert Bourla of Pfizer and Cor Schultz of Teva Pharmaceutical Industries. Last but certainly not least, the Herbert Tenzer Lifetime Achievement Award was awarded to the very worthy Noah Tishby due to her spectacular work in the field of outspoken advocacy. It was a night to remember, and thank you all for taking part in this meaningful enterprise.
Wow. So just a quick update. We're still 2-2 in football, just if anybody's curious. Before we turn to our two members of delegations that attended Israel, I'd like just to quickly turn to our audience and share with them some of my thoughts. We just saw, in a way, generation to generation, two young kids, an American and Israeli, coming together. And with the increase of social media and its impact on the creation of narratives, sometimes far from the truth and facts, the importance of building bridges between America and Americans and Israel and Israelis is even more crucial than ever. Introducing Israel as it is to Americans from all sectors and communities, presenting its art, music, people, high-tech and startup, democracy, and the challenges the country is confronting is essential for Israel and for America, as America is Israel's ally and friend. AIFL partner with world-class organizations, from the Israeli Opera to NASA, and we showcase Israelis' contribution around the world in humanitarian, scientific, and cultural fields that makes us all very, very proud. One of AIFL's activities is to reach out to Americans and increase awareness about Israel is our online activities, the one we're right now attending. In the past few years, we have conducted over 225 webinars and parlor meetings with a total number of 2.1 million viewers. Now that is remarkable. Many resources are invested in producing a webinar, starting from discussions about the topic of the webinar, allocating a presenter and a panelist, going over the content and preparing the presentation and discussion, tech support and graphic works, broadcasting on social media, and much, much more. We need your support.
Jeremy, Argentina just won.
Well, that's very good news. I hope I'm not offending anybody. I can hear actually the screams of joy from the buildings all around us.
Now we can get back to business without distraction.
So,
congratulations.
We really need all of your support to be able to continue this very, very important mission. We need your support to increase our online activities and to reach a wider audience. Please be our partners by continuing to join our webinars, by sharing them with your friends and family, and inviting them to join us. We also ask your support. We need your support to continue with our programs and increase them. All tax-deductible donations will be much appreciated, and we will send out to each of our donors a letter of acknowledgement from the America-Israel Friendship League. Please partner with us. We really need your support.
Jeremy, thanks for sharing those reflections, and you know, we'll put up that screen again later in the show for people who are interested in supporting. David, thanks for chiming in on the great news for a dramatic ending. And I know now we have a chance, Jeremy, to share from the freshest, some of the freshest voices of people who have participated this year in ways that we haven't been able to in the last couple of years. So Jeremy, maybe you want to segue back and introduce our two next guests.
Sure, thank you. So
wait, update. It's 3-2 Argentina. I thought the game was over. It was like a sudden death. The game is still on. So sorry about that. There's still hope for France.
We have a live broadcasting from the field in Qatar. So yes, that's correct. AIFL is back on track on delegations, thanks to overcoming, at least for what seems to be the COVID. And in the past summer, we had a delegation to Israel of U.S. Hispanic community leaders. Alfredo, Alfie, as we call him, Mesa, Vice President of Public Affairs at the Miami Marlins, attended the delegation, and he would like to share with us his reflections. Alfie?
Jeremy, thank you so much for that introduction. Hello and greetings to all my fellow Zoomers here today. I want to start by thanking the American-Israel Friendship League, the board of directors, and the professional staff, Ruby in particular, and Reuven Solomon, just everyone who made us feel welcome and who really worked so hard, Cassia and everyone who really made us feel welcome. In the United States, the Hispanic community is very diverse. And we had the honor and privilege of visiting this year. And I believe it was the first visit of in-person visit since COVID. So we felt extra special. I want to highlight something that I was not expecting. Among the many things that we experienced and the many people we met, my greatest takeaway was a sense of belonging. Let me explain what I mean by that. I happen to be Roman Catholic, and I live in sunny South Florida here in Miami. I'm blessed to have a great career in baseball. And by the way, the World Baseball Classic in Miami next year, Israel will be playing in Miami. So I invite all of you to come to Miami and root for Israel when they're here in March of 2023. But my greatest takeaway, and I've only had this experience in my life maybe 2 other times, when visiting Madrid and when I'm visiting my parents' hometown during a papal visit in Cuba. I felt a sense of belonging. Each of us had different backgrounds, different life experiences, yet every second of that trip, of that journey, felt like we belonged. So that was my greatest takeaway. The other thing I'd like to highlight as an American is how our values were so visible and so present, and the transparency by which Israel has truly made this friendship with the United States over the years, and the respect for how they overcome on so many levels, under so many challenges and so many difficult situations, the sense of perseverance to maintain values and democracy, and making sure that all the freedoms and liberties that are important to us as human beings, that was very, very present. Every single presentation, from the visit to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to the Knesset, to all of the presenters, was truly inspiring. And I want to just close with 2 other experiences. One, when we visited the Perez Center for Peace and Innovation, there again, the impact that Israel has had around the world through technology, and with statesmen like President Shimon Peres, who still remains just such a high standard bearer of what it means to promote peace around the world. And his visits to Miami were very, very powerful. And the other one was all of the work that Israel does around the world, from a humanitarian standpoint, the nonprofit support and Mashab, just the incredible connection, not just in the United States, but all over the world. We learned about different impactful projects in Latin America and in other areas of the world that truly resonated with me, because in the United States, we're so diverse, and to see that Israel has a commitment to global peace and empowerment all over the world. So those are my greatest takeaways. And I want to close with how I started. It was a sense of belonging. It was a sense that you didn't have to be Israeli. You didn't have to be of a particular faith, even though the faith experience was very powerful. As a Christian, to visit the holy sites was incredibly profound and has really changed my life. But that was all part of feeling like we all belong. So I want to thank you all for that experience. and I'd like to stay connected with all of you.
Well, of
and we'll
course
see
you
you in
will.
Miami for the World Baseball Classic.
Well, first, really, thank you very much for your very, very warm words. You are not only a personal friend of our team and staff, but you're also a dear friend of this organization, and we will stay in touch. And just one slight remark, you know, there's a saying or a concept in Judaism called tikkun olam, making the world a better place. We will have maybe one day a webinar about the topic, but the concept of trying to reach out to other places around the world and assist is inherent in our Jewish tradition and in Israel. So thank you very much. And I'd like to now turn to another dear friend of ours and to ask Georgian State Senator Sonia Halpern to share with us her reflections. Sonia attended the African American Community Leader Delegation that was in Israel just several weeks ago in December, beginning of December, and she actually just returned a week ago, I think, back home. Sonia and I met in Israel and had hours of discussion over delicious Israeli food. So Senator Halpern, please.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be with everybody this morning or evening, whatever the case may be, where you are around the world. It is true. I arrived back, let's see, it was 2 weeks ago today that I arrived for my first time in Israel. And I have been looking forward to this trip and was so grateful and glad to have the opportunity to attend with the American Israel Friendship League and with the particular group of 13 other African American community leaders from around the states. We all arrived as strangers, and you should know that we've left as friends, and some would even say family. We've got a group chat. We're still talking as if we are still together in Israel, sharing with each other. And I will say that there were so many different experiences that really have stuck with me and that I'm still processing, but the ability to be able, as you've heard already on this call, to have some insight into kind of the business and technology strength that Israel has, to have some insight and perspective into academia, to have insight into some of the cultural aspects, was incredibly moving. I, like Alfie, felt an incredible sense of amazement at the holy sites and at the shared space that people of all religions come and worship there. I'm gonna say that because I'm an elected official, you all are not a political organization. I will say that again for the record, but because I'm an elected, some of the most kind of complicated discussion points that we had were around issues of the geopolitics and really taking that ride up to the northernmost tip and looking down on Medulla and being able to see Lebanon and actually with binoculars to be able to see Hezbollah flags flying and to know that just over the mountains was Syria and you've got Iraq and Iran, and to really be able to have a briefing on what is happening with the kind of just the geopolitics of where Israel sits brought into really sharp focus for me the importance of the relationship that America has with Israel as really the only democracy in the Middle East. And so that was really meaningful to me. And I will tell you that what has amazed me about Israel, like you go into old Jerusalem and there's this beautiful combination of old with modern, and even in mixed of the old, thousands and thousands of years old, it still feels really fresh. That connection to tradition, the values that are inherent in the Jewish community and in Israel, that profoundly stuck with me. We had the opportunity to actually sit down on a Friday night and do a Shabbat dinner with a family, and to think that every Friday, this is the tradition, this is the culture, and it has been this way forever, and it feels still so fresh, and the family was so open and gracious with us. It was just, the whole experience was incredible. And I can't end without also speaking specifically about our visit to Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial, which from a design standpoint is a beautiful space. But the way that design and then the curation of the materials and the storytelling told the story of Jews around the world, in fact, and the Holocaust, of course, it was really incredible. And I think for me, it made me understand that much more. Not that the Holocaust is the justification for, but it certainly made me understand more the reason why the importance of a Jewish state and Israel, therefore. So anyway, those are just a few thoughts. I'm still fresh back, and so I'm still kind of trying to narrow down exactly how I felt and be able to articulate it and express it in other words. But those are some quick thoughts, just 1 week out from my trip, my first trip, I should say, because I do want to return.
Senator Halperin and Alfie, I think Jeremy and I both, just listening to you as friends of Israel, we could not imagine having better friends, and we can't imagine. We will be rooting on the Israeli team in Florida, and we know, Alfie, you'll be a great host, wearing either your Marlins hat or your AIFL hat or whatever hat you want to wear. And really, Senator Halperin, as you talked about the multiple aspects of what made an impression on you as both a legislator as well as just a sensitive person experiencing the world and experiencing the beauty of Israel for the first time. We have been delighted on this webinar series, even when people couldn't travel or can't travel, with the kind of regularity that they would like, for cost reasons, for health reasons, for many other reasons. We have been able to share parts of Israel that really have inspired many people. And as Alfie referred to, Israel's role, not even just within Israel, but things we can't always even show you from Israel, but Israelis that are having an impact elsewhere in the world. So we're going to show just a short clip now from our webinar series. It's actually one of my personal highlights because it shows the resilience of Israeli society in a completely different setting. In this case, actually in Ukraine, where a field team had to set up a hospital during live combat. And as we were going on air, the missile sirens were going off. We didn't even know if we were going to be able to do the segment and go forward. But as with everything else in Israel, everything is possible. And we went ahead with the program, and we heard and saw some of the people who not only have experienced their own challenges in their own home front, but who have taken their experience to share it in other parts of the world. So let's run that segment from the webinar earlier in the year.
Okay, so first of all, proud to be here. And I think that the Ukrainian people will remember us for many years. And as Jewish, we are obligated to help the Ukrainian people in their worst time. And basically, I'm OBGYN, and we think a lot of things during the last 10 days. I think what is unique here that we are, it's a multidisciplinary teams. First of all, we are coming from all the health organization in Israel, all the HMOs, all the hospitals. We are physicians, nurses, other health professionals that came from everywhere in Israel. And within 24 hours, we became one group that were able to operate this hospital. And very soon we approved the abilities and gave treatment to all kinds of medical problems, including pediatrics, OBGYN, etc. So this is very unique. We saw very unique cases. For example, Dr. Kotzer will tell you about the child that we transferred to Yeshiva Medical Center from Kiev, and also we sent some patients to the big cities around us to other treatments.
Wayne, you're on mute.
That was a little piece from our live broadcast from Ukraine with some of the medical personnel who had set up a hospital. We won't have time to show you the full segment here. As with everything else that we've done on the webinars, we have an archive. All of them go on YouTube, including this one, so you can share it with any of your friends. Afterwards, we encourage you to take a look at the rich array of aspects of Israeli society that we've been able to share over the past 3 years. We make it available all for free. Jeremy, you know, it'd be nice if we can do this 24/7. We're actually a really small team. Some people can't believe the size of our team that puts this together. But that's why we're so grateful at the end of the year to come together and bring together a group of people that understand that we need help and we need support to be able to continue to do it.
That's correct. And just behind the scenes, we have Giovanni and Cassia and Raquel and Ruby and many, and Nomi and many others who are active behind to support us right now. And yes, I think it's quite clear what we've heard, the importance of making these bridges, the importance of making these connections and friendships, and the importance of having these online activities to increase awareness, to open up a discussion, to show Israel as it is, to show us, the Jewish state, as we are. And we really, once again, need your support to be able to continue into 2023 on these activities and increase them. So please help us with what we're doing with our mission. You can see on this slide right now on the screen how one can contribute to this mission, this vital mission. Thank you once again in advance to any contribution you're able to make. Wayne?
Jeremy, thanks for that. And again, for all of you for being here with us. I promised at the top of the hour, we were going to leave you with something both sweet and savory at the same time. It is not necessarily the results of the World Cup, which are still not apparently complete. But what we do have for you are special blessings. This is the first night of Hanukkah. There are Jewish communities around the world that are celebrating as we speak, and some earlier with the time difference, and some only getting ready for it later in the day. But we wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of the celebration of Hanukkah in Israel. One of our very popular master chefs who we've featured on the webinar series, Nir Tzuk, has agreed to share with us his mom's recipe for making latkes. So Nir, take it away, and then we'll share some concluding thoughts when he's finished. Jeremy, go ahead and light with Nir as well if you want. I know Israelis are getting ready to light them pretty much as we speak.
I have my candle ready.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של חנוכה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. הנרות הללו אנו מדליקין על הניסים ועל הנפלאות ועל התשועות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. על ידי כהניך הקדושים, שכל 8 ימי חנוכה הנרות הללו קודש הם, ואין לנו רשות להשתמש בהם, אלא לראותם בלבד כדי להודות לשמך הגדול, על ניסיך ועל נפלאותיך ועל ישועותיך. Hello everyone. So, Nir Tzuk is here. We're going to make latkes today. Latkes is the easiest. Actually, all holidays food is very easy. So I'm taking 3 medium potatoes, I peeled them before, and 1 medium onion, and I'm just grating them. It's easier to grate it on a cutting board. Normally people would teach you to do it into a bowl, but then the grater is not stable. So the onion is very, very juicy. A lot of water is coming out. We're going to dry it later on. Basically only 5 ingredients, the whole recipe, and 5 minutes to make. Then a month of diet to take it off after the 8 weeks of the holiday. Of course, later on we'll have some vignette, but that's afterwards, after dinner. Potatoes are very easy to grate. You can do it in a food processor, by the way, if you want to do a large quantity. I'm doing only 3 potatoes, which is about half a kilo. How much is half a kilo in pound? You'll do the calculation yourself. Most important part would be to squeeze all the juice from the potato and onion before making the latkes. It's very easy to cut your fingers on a grater, so the last piece I'm not making. If you want, you can fry it and enjoy it like this with a little bit of salt. I'm not going to bother today because I have guests coming later on. There's nothing nicer than the light of the Chanukiah in the house. Watching all the neighbors here in Jaffa in Christmas. So I'm taking a strainer and I'm putting the potato and the onion on the strainer, and I'm just squeezing them. You see how much juice is coming out? Squeeze it as much as possible. Don't kill yourself over it. If it would be too watery later on, I'll just add a little bit more flour. I'd rather not. That should be enough. Now into a mixing bowl. Just take off the cutting board. Okay, 1 egg. About 1 spoon of flour. Half a teaspoon of baking soda. Salt and pepper. If you want to go creative and add some herbs now or garlic, whatever you like, feel free. I like doing things the traditional way in the holidays. Works better for me and my family. Then, very trendy the last few years is making latkes from sweet potatoes, from zucchini, from whatever vegetable people find, they will make latkes, but I'm doing them the way my grandmother used to. Might need a little more flour. I have some hot vegetable oil. I like to use olive oil, but then you have to make sure you don't overheat it. Most people would use sunflower oil or canola oil. Any vegetable oil will work. That's it, latkes. In the oil, enjoying the heat. I will let them get a little bit brown, flip them over. And then it's ready. Second. takes a while. You need to remember that the potatoes are not half cooked or anything. So it takes a little time to fry. Let them rest in the oil. First is flip, you see, it's not brown enough. I'm trying to speed things for you. In my family, we eat the latkes with some sour cream or yogurt. I know people like to make it with some spicy tomato salsa, with chilies and garlic and cilantro and olive oil. It's all about your family tradition. So whatever you do, stick with your tradition. I think that's the best way for everyone. And once in a while, anyway, you'll be invited to your neighbors for latkes and donuts. So there you can enjoy. Also in the donuts today in Israel, you get a variety, a huge variety of different kinds of donuts, stuffed with creme patisseries and all kinds of crazy miso and toffee sauces. I like the traditional one with the strawberry jelly. So my latkes are almost done. All I need now, have a look how beautiful. Normally I will make it a little more brown because that's how it should burn, how it should be done. Enjoy the webinar, everyone. Chag Chanukah Sameach.
Wow, Nir, I heard screaming in the background. I wasn't sure if it was only for Argentina or if it was for Nir's latkes. But either way, whatever it is, whichever side you're on, whether you like savory or sweet, at America-Israel Friendship League, we have recipes for everyone. Jeremy, I saw you lighting your Hanukkah just as we were starting with Nir as well. Maybe you could just share, what it means for Israelis at this moment, at this very moment, to be lighting their Hanukkah, watching Mondial, celebrating Hanukkah, getting ready for Sylvester, starting a new year. Please tell us a little bit before we head out with the final song.
Well, I hope you could see my Hanukkah. I actually wanted to, if it's okay with you, Wayne, share with you something personal. The Hanukkah you just saw is 350 years old. It came from my late father and runs in the family for centuries, from generation to generation. My grandfather, Hillel Weiss, was a professor of philosophy. He was also honored by Kaiser Franz Joseph, the highest medal of bravery in the First World War. And he was also a leading rabbi in Austria. He and my grandmother, my father and his sister all fled Austria when the Nazis came in, and they became Holocaust refugees fleeing from country to country throughout the Holocaust. They were the lucky ones. It's a long story, we won't go into it. They survived. And remarkably, there was the reunion with the Hanukkah, which we light today in Israel, all of the family, me and my brothers, every night together to continue this tradition of our Jewish state, the state of Israel, continue our Hanukkah tradition of lighting the Hanukkah candle no matter what goes on. So it's actually a very moving ceremony for us.
Jeremy, thanks for sharing that reflection. To all of our panelists that have been with us today, Toda, gracias, shukran, thank you, everything in every language. We're so grateful to have so many friends of Israel. We are back again next, not this coming Wednesday, but after the holiday, Wednesday, the 28th, with a year-end program celebrating opera. We know we have opera fans out there. It's some of our most popular programs. This is actually an opera about the Cairo Geniza, if you can believe it, for those of you that know that fascinating history. I see the Wassermans were holding up their menorah in the background, which was exciting for me to see as we get ready. Thank you again for being with us. We have so many warm memories, so many things we're celebrating. We wanted to leave just with a thank you from the whole team here at AIFL, our president, Jonathan Barsadeh, who you saw on the opening video that we shared, and who has helped make this technology possible for so many people to be able to enjoy and participate interactively in such creative ways week in and week out. Thanks all for being with us. We are going to leave you with what was definitely the showstopper at the New York Gala this year. If you look closely, you might be able to find Seth or Talia in the group of American and Israeli students singing together a popular American song. I think you all know. We have you on mute, so if you want to sing along, nobody's gonna, bother. No problem. You could sing, you can celebrate, you could sing Hanukkah songs, you could sing your happiness or misery for the result in the World Cup. Whatever it is, we want to leave everyone with our sincere thanks for a great year, and thank you for being here with us.
And take your son if you let them, oh no, don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Don't you know that winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is come.